Okay, so good afternoon. Today we are right here at EduFirst Learning Centre and speaking about education that is positive and benefit for your child. We have with us a very, very passionate educator, Calister. Hi Calister, so can you tell us more about yourself and what subjects you teach?
Hi, I'm Calister. I'm a teacher myself. I usually teach primary levels, English, Math and Chinese science as well for primary 1 to 5. Yeah.
Oh, so do you find that you enjoy working with younger children?
When we see them improve or find more confidence in doing their work, we do find that pleasure, like that satisfaction in our job. Yeah.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. It's all about passion, it's all about education. Okay, so Calister, in your professional opinion, can you share with us, how students best absorb and retain knowledge?
I think for me it's their active lifestyle, the way their sleeping hours, the kind of food that they eat. Yeah, whether they have enough time to vent off those very active energy. Yeah, I think sleeping well is very important because if they go to school like feeling tired and well, they can't really listen attentively in class. And second thing is more of the interest in the subject as well. So in a ways where as teachers, our role is to help instill the confidence in them, and together with that, I think SAP's assessment book do give them that confidence in that way because it is like from basic to more challenging questions.
Yes, absolutely. The difficulty level is progressive from one stage to the other so that the children can actually be well rested and they can practice to perfection. Okay, so on the topic of knowledge absorption and retention, could you give us a specific example of when you have observed this occurring in your classroom?
Personally, for me, like for example, when I teach mathematics, especially when it comes to a new topic, they don't have the confidence when they see something very foreign or like just not common. They don't know what is this about. So that's where teachers' role is to step in to give them that confidence to take on the questions. So I think SAP's books, we have like the very basic ones. So that's where we do the introduction to them, and then when they do, they slowly understand. Oh, this is how it's being done. But however, for retain of information, they do it through a lot of practice. So I think that's where really assessment book comes into play because it is practice on the questions on different type. You change the type of numbers, you change the subject, but you apply the same kind of techniques on it. You see, so that's where I think SAP book comes in hand with the teaching to help us let the students understand what they're learning. You see.
Yes, extremely well said, by the teacher herself, right? And we agree, that in a complex world of, let's say, mathematics, it's all about confidence building and it's all about practicing. Okay, so we agree that teaching students these days is a very, very challenging task. Now, what are some of the teaching challenges you face in the classroom? And for that matter, some of the constraints that your students face in their learning?
I think constraints in learning would be more of the retention of information as they are still young. Their cognitive development is still, slowly growing. That from time to time they can slowly memorize or remember more things. But at a young age, maybe they are, distracted by the environment, or their retention is just not so good.
Which is why they need to sleep more.
Not really maybe sleeping more, just maybe listening more attentively. But even if they do understand certain concepts being taught in this lesson or what they have learned, next week when they come back, they kind of just forget. Yeah, so there are some certain techniques that we try to teach them is that, for example, like today they are learning a new topic, we let them practice on the questions and it's okay. We'll give them the same type of questions to go home to practice as homework. And homework shouldn't be like done in the one shot, in one sitting, but maybe spread out into a few days so that every day they manage to have a practice on the same concepts for mathematics, for say. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if your child is one of the restless ones that she has just mentioned, they have the very right strategy right here. Okay, so which SAP book series would you say you would personally recommend?
When it comes to teaching Chinese to the students, there's a lot of words that they have not encountered, especially most of the students are actually struggling with Hanyu Pinyin. And I think this SAPs, all these 手册, that's they have it every level and it's very updated according to the school's corporate 3A and 3B, for example. There is like example meanings, definition of what the vocabulary word is that they are learning, the 词语配词. They have English translation for it as well as 造句, because there are certain words, especially in Chinese, you can use that same words in many different contexts or situations, and to kids it's just in that one situation. But in this Chinese 词语手册, they have a few like sentence examples which like introduces to a kid, oh, you can actually form a sentence in this way, and it helps them understand the words better. And I think this is a very crucial part when coming to teaching a student Chinese.
Well, thanks, Calister, for that. And I think what she has said is absolutely spot on, because it is not only reader-friendly, user-friendly. The size of the book itself comes in, as she says, extremely handy just before any test or any assessment. Okay, so how long and how often have you been using the SAP book series?
I think ever since I was still student, maybe 20 years now, even until now, I'm also encouraging more of my students who are learning Chinese to use it, because it's very user-friendly. They organize it in a way that is very easy for you to look up on information that you want. So that is my to-go. Yeah, okay. If you are learning Chinese, it's a must-have.
Yeah, I totally agree, you see. So from one generation to another, the books are evergreen. Okay, so once again, we'd like to thank you sincerely, Calister, for being here with us today, and sharing with us your perspectives on education. So before we leave, would you have any message for our viewers out there?
I think being a student nowadays is really not easy, and when it comes to learning, I think it's very important for them to have a very healthy, active lifestyle, but also not forgetting to play, not so much on the tuitions and stuff. It has to be a balanced lifestyle as well, and instilling confidence in them when learning is very important, and that is also something that I focus a lot on when I'm teaching my students. So we focus a lot on like small group teaching here, so that we can always focus on like areas that they are weaker in, instead of having a classroom of a fixed curriculum for all students to follow through, because then the weaker ones usually will fall behind. They lose interest because they have already not so-called followed the train, they have already laid back, that way. So in that way, when we do smaller tuition group teachings, we can so-called pick out this little weakness that they are falling behind, or they have not understand what was being taught, and we focus again on that area.
Right, absolutely. So for a personalized and holistic approach to education, do come on down here and check out what EduFirst Learning Centre has in store for all of you. Thank you.